I would also like to thank and recognize Elie Wiesel, who I understand was the Executive Committee's annual conference chair at the time that this award was proposed, and to thank him for his continuing concern for peace in the Holy Land. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vienna Declaration of a few years ago asserted that, and I quote, while the significance of national and religious particularities and various historical, cultural, and religious backgrounds must be borne in mind, it is the duty of states, regardless of their political, economic, and cultural system, to promote and protect all human rights and fundamental freedoms. I just wanted you to know that I have just received a message from the international grouping called the Alliance of Civilizations. Not to be confused, I take it, with the initial steps taken by former Secretary General Kofi Annan, but with particular emphasis on cooperation in the Mediterranean region and the initiatives taken by the governments of Spain and Turkey, respectively. I was interested to see today on Euronews a reference to how Europeans discovered the Black Sea. So I am happy to emphasize the focus once again on that linchpin of the terra media, the Mediterra, the Mare Nostrum, by saying that in private conversation, Dr. Fischer, the President of Austria, has suggested a retreat, which I would like to accept possibly in the context of the Alliance of Civilization. And I would like to suggest to you, Professor Swidler, Rabbi Greenberg, and my friend from Australia, whose name I can't pronounce. You know, the other day the Australian delegation came up indignantly, well, semi-indignantly, because I said to them, you speak English as a foreign language. It was only because I had given the Winston Churchill lecture at the English-speaking Union, and yes, I've had the company of Lynn Hepner for 14 years, and it's introduced into my vocabulary terms like we must keep on trucking. So, in the interest of keeping on trucking, I wanted to say that I hope that the day will come when the English-speaking peoples will include not only people of Anglo-Saxon origin, but also, with all due respect to the British historian Andrew Roberts in his defense of the English-speaking people, that he might remember that there are a few 100 million, I don't know what we're called, others or brown-skinned people who also speak English reasonably well. But thank you all for your contributions, and thank you for the challenge you have set us, Professor Swidler. When I was at Oxford years ago, we used to divide professors into distinguished professors and extinguished professors. We never really wanted to listen to the extinguished variety, particularly as they never seemed to recognize the point in life at which they had arrived. In this case, I want to say that every time I hear Len speaking, I am moved and inspired. I would like to bring your attention to the fact that my friend Manfred Max Neef, an alternative Nobel laureate from Chile, classifies fundamental human needs as subsistence, protection, affection, understanding, participation, recreation in the sense of leisure time to reflect or idleness. In the words of Winnie the Pooh, that great sage, sometimes I sits and thinks, and sometimes I just sits. He adds creation, identity, and freedom. Needs are also defined according to the existential categories of being, having, doing, and interacting. And in Scotland later this year, I am hopeful that we will pull together a group of 40, divided into 10, young and old, entrepreneurs, academics, establishment economists, and non-establishment economists, to discuss in a long weekend debate how to teach economics. Because I think the time has come whereby the issues that we're discussing have to be demystified. We talk about demystifying the other, demystifying religion, but I think the time has also come to ask, can we not restructure commodity markets so that if farmers are blessed with a bumper crop, they don't go bankrupt because of a crash in post-harvest prices. I understand in today's Bangladesh that they have a bumper crop of rice and they are being encouraged to turn to potato culture. Of course, the Yemenis were extremely clever merchants through history. Mocha coffee comes from Mocha in Yemen. They were well known for boiling the husk and exporting the bean. Just like the Brazilians export that tiny cashew nut and keep the fruit and think we're so stupid that we only want that little thing at the end of the fruit. Questions will be asked such as, in the ongoing conversations on educational development in South Asia, with my friends from South Asia, can we not design policies and institutions which lend an element of sustainability to the productive areas of small farmers by introducing some income security into their lives? You mentioned Grameen on more than one occasion, and as I said the other day, can we envisage the members of Grameen Bank, drawn from the ranks of the poor, becoming major stockholders in the Dhaka stock exchange, stock market? Can we reward hard labor and give incentives for the regular production of larger crops? Can we correspondingly restructure the global market so that a young girl from a village in South Asia, in West Asia, who produces a shirt which markets at $15 at JCPenney, takes home more than 25 cents she receives for sewing that shirt, while all sorts of people along the line appropriate the remaining $14.75. Such a process of increasing the income share of the girl from, let's say, Faridpur in the revenues from the sale of a shirt in JCPenney remains integral to the restoration of justice in the global marketplace.